Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eyes no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to Grizz 901, your favorite post-game show. Unfortunately, we're coming to you after another injury, but what's new at this point in life? The Grizzlies lose 128-119. We're going to talk through all of what happened in the game. We're going to talk about what's going to happen in the future. We're down Marcus Smart. We're down Desmond Bane. And honestly, at this point in the season, let's just figure out what to do and keep everybody healthy. But we're going to talk through the entire game, and I promise you we're going to make you laugh. And we have Grizz Trivia in the second segment. We have something new to share with you. But in the third segment, we'll look at the New York Knicks, and I have something that I've already recorded. Put it in the tank. It's going to come out tonight at midnight. Actually, no, 11 p.m. Central. It is a long, I guess, an extended version. I did a pregame show with someone over at Knicks School with the New York Knicks, and so it was very good. We did that this morning, and so you're going to want to make sure you tune into that. Show them some love, but also check out the interview that was with Andrew over there from Knicks School. But let's go ahead and get into the show. Nate's here. Why not? All right, Dag Daniels. I'm tired, boss. I'm looking at you.
Pour one out for the Grizzlies season.
I'm looking at you. You tired, boss. Why is this doing this?
Now we're in all black because we're in mourning.
Yeah, I'm in black too.
You could not script more of a disaster. You couldn't. You could not write it. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we redshirt Bane. That's actually a good one. It took me a second, but that's good.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, how is it this bad that the Grizzlies are like, I don't know. How do you have this many injuries in a season? Like, I just don't get it.
Somebody ain't been going to church.
You got to get ahead. You got to go to church.
Dude, it's unbelievable. And everybody deals with injuries in a given year, but my God, dude. It's unbelievable. Truly unbelievable at this point. So, and I see Enzo B, thanks for being here, saying to tank. Here's the good news. You don't have to tank. You're just going to lose. You're not going to tank. You're just going to lose.
Yeah.
It's like,
and we knew that when Smart went out. Like, having Jaren and Bane there is fine. And you're going to win some games you shouldn't. You're going to lose a bunch of games that you should. But now that Bane's out, this is at minimum at this point. We're talking weeks. I would imagine with an ankle sprain.
Well, and why bring him back again? Once Smart went out, like our whole thing after Ja went out for the season was, hey, this team's looked really good. They're kind of coming together and finding an identity, even without Ja on the floor. And then Marcus goes down. And that's like, you just couldn't afford to lose even one more piece and be competitive. And now you're down Dez too. Like, poor Jaren, you're going to look at the box score and be like, he's had a rough night. But it's like, they only have to guard one guy. It's just brutal, man. So, yeah, I still say don't tank because you're just going to lose anyways. So, like,
there's no tanking.
Lay it out. There's no point. Like that. At one point tonight, Jake LaRavia, Zaire Williams, and David Roddy and Jacob Gilliard were sharing the floor with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And the game was not over yet. Like, it wasn't like fourth quarter. It's like, man, it is what it is. Like, I can't even be mad tonight. I'm just like, man, at what point? Like, do we cancel the show? Is it our fault? Is it our fault? Maybe.
Listen, if it's us, just tell us. Like, we're down.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Wilson. It's terrible. It's horrible, man. Ricky Bobby done put the evil on us.
Yeah. Ricky Bobby, we don't want none. But what we do want is you to go to Streetcars of Memphis, new sponsor. Who dis? They have lift. They have kits of lifting. You can have some wheels and some tires put on. No, but in all seriousness, Streetcars of Memphis is a reputable sponsor. They're one of our sponsors, and they are sponsoring the comment section. My favorite, your favorite, all your favorites. If you would, just go over to Streetcars of Memphis. You have your regular maintenance there. They do anything and everything, but they also do the fun stuff, right? They can modify your car. Speakers, lights, any kind of lift kits, anything that you're looking for. If you want a new set of wheels, go to Streetcars of Memphis. But because we're Grizz 901, because they're a proud sponsor of us, for this month, you can use the code Grizz901 and receive a $55 regular oil change and a $65 for full synthetic. I need an oil change. Perfect timing. I'm going full synthetic, baby. But that's just an oil change at cost. The reason is because, one, they want to get their name out there, such as we do as well. And so go show some love to the guys over at Streetcars of Memphis, and just go get an oil change. Let them know when you call that you heard it from Grizz 901. But go check them out online at 901SCM streetcarsmemphis.com, or you can call them at 901-323-3332. Bunch of threes. But they can help you get anything you want, any customizations, but make sure you go ahead and call them and let them know that you need to get an oil change. But they are a proud sponsor of the comment section. So let's go ahead and show up our comments as I've been talking. LOL, nope, Jones. Good effort. Even at the end of By the Hustle.
Yes,
the Hustle crew showing out.
Correct. Listen, this is what we have to do the rest of the season. We're just going to make light of the Memphis Hustle playing in the NBA. But honestly, yeah, it was good. Even credit where credit's due. Jake played really well tonight, I thought. And listen, I'm glad that I said the Grizzlies have gotten to a point where I'm like, hey, I'm just going to give even Jake a shot, because the rest of the season, if I'm going to turn it off every time Jake comes on the screen, I'm going to turn off a lot of Grizzlies basketball.
You ain't watching Grizzlies.
Yeah. So, listen, he played well. Roddy played well. Zaire played well. All the youth guys looked good, which is encouraging. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, they all gave really good effort. I thought Jake actually didn't. He obviously had a couple of shots and a couple of buckets, but I thought he had really good activity as well. To be honest, I am maturing. You have no choice. We had to speed rush through the denials part of grief.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been grieving for so long. It's pretty easy to get to the point of acceptance, and so here we are.
So, real quick, so Andrew from Nick School asked me today as we record, and he goes, "So, tell me about your expectations. Tell me your thoughts on the season." And my first initial thing was, do you know about the grieving process? There's so many cycles. He lost it. It literally is. This is a grieving process. You know what? You get so upset. You're pissed. You're throwing things. You're crying one time, and eventually you just get to where you're laughing because it's so terrible and it sucks so bad that you have to just laugh through it. That's where we're at.
There's nothing to do. I'm not angry.
No,
I've accepted this. I've accepted my plight in life.
Yeah,
which is watching the Memphis Hustle for the rest of the season. This is where we are.
Yeah, it is. And in the second segment tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about what do you do with Jaren. And so I don't want to get into what do we do with Jaren, because, I think that's going to be an important discussion that we're going to get into. And tomorrow night we have the New York Knicks. And listen, I'm just going to be completely transparent and honest. I'm in a terrible mood. I just had to cancel my cabin trip. I'm not excited. I literally just got off the phone because of the snowstorm that's coming through here. We're unsure if the weather is good. Nobody is exactly thrilled about trying to do it. And so I just got off the phone, and I don't even know if I'm going to get any money back. I probably just paid for a cabin for a few days that I don't get to even get to. So I'm not in a good mood. And then Desmond Bane goes down. This is just a no good, terrible, bad night for me.
Consolation prize. You get to hang out with me tomorrow night. Hey. Listen, the entire rest of this season is gonna be how do we make light of what we have to deal with night in and night out. Let's talk about the game. For once, I actually want to dive into the game a little bit. I genuinely thought there was good out of this game. One, X looked like the beast tonight.
Yeah.
He looked awesome all night long. Laravia showed some promise. And if you expect me to hop on the Laravia train with old Malibu's most wanted, no. Jaravia, I'm not on the train yet. But I'm all about him playing well and then putting himself into a trade package. Roddy looked good. Zaire looked fine. Like, honestly, Paul George, who's an amazing basketball player, played like the best I've seen him play in a long time. Like, he just could not miss, it felt like tonight. Kawhi was hyper efficient tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when those guys shoot like that, there's not much you're going to do, especially if you're playing with, Jaren Jackson's the only one you've really got left at this point. Even out of your main role contributors, like they're gone. They're all gone. They're all gone. I mean, you got what? Kennard, I guess. And then if you want to throw in Vince Williams, you can throw in Vince Williams. But even that.
But he's not an offensive threat. Like, you need offense.
We're really excited about Vince, and he's going to be a contributor for this team, but he's not a main role contributor yet.
Yeah. And let me speak on him. Like, I know what you're going to see. You saw it tonight. Okay. And I'm just going to be honest and upfront with everybody. You're going to be disappointed in Vince Williams most nights, especially throughout this season, and mainly only just through this season. When you get back your regular guys that can carry the offensive load, and you just ask him to score his 6 to 8 points every now and then and play his tail off defensively. Like tonight, he went 2 of 6 overall, and he shot 5 3-pointers, went 2 of 5. 3 rebounds, that's it. An assist, 6 points. Like, I know that I know this is the very start of it because I can already see it. I can see his box score and tell you that the way it looks on a bad team, he's going to look like this. Yeah. He's a player that excels when he can fit in and kind of go unnoticed. And you're going to see that those little things become big. But right now he's playing too big of a role, and it's not going to be good for him.
It's every guy they have left.
It's true.
Besides Jaren, like Jaren's a go-to guy, but even that, it's got every team now. All you have to do is load up on Jaren. Yep. I mean, it's gonna get rough. Yeah. It's gonna get really rough. But I mean, dude, conceivably, your next game, you're starting Jaren Jackson, Xavier Tillman, Vince Williams Jr., Luke Kennard, Jacob Gilliard. Do you throw Zaire in there? Like,
Gilly's gonna start.
And if that's the case, your bench is Zaire Williams, Jake LaRavia, David Roddy, John Conchar, Gigi Jackson. Maybe you get Santi back. Like, these are the players that are coming out. So it's like everybody out of those guys needs a Ja Morant.
Yeah.
They're not in the NBA to be main contributors. They are in the NBA to capitalize on when Ja Morant makes a play for you and puts you in a good spot. So, and now, like, the other guy who was your main guy for that, who knows how long he's out for, because that ankle went fully horizontal. So it's like, dude, it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable at this point.
As Dak Daniels says, all shooting guards on the bench, yes, and none of them can shoot. It's weird. I get it.
Exactly.
It's weird. But let me look through this real quick on just the box score and just talk through different guys. Let's go ahead and talk to the Clippers just a tiny bit because they did look good at times. Paul George going off for 37 points is big. 7 of 10 from deep is just deadly. 12 of 18 overall. Kawhi Leonard, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 10 of 16, 2 of 5 from deep. Zubac had 11 rebounds, which was, I think his line was 10.5. but only 6 points there. So he wasn't really dominant. He only played 22 minutes, which is because I don't think they needed him to. Then James Harden, a very low-key night, 11 and 9, 9 assists, 2 of 4 from deep. Terrence Mann, just a low-key night, 5 rebounds, 7 points. And then their bench was okay. There's nobody that really just worried me or scared me or said, like, hey, I would want them on my team. They're fine. Like nothing outlandish on their team. Let's get to our team real quick. Jaren with 21 points. He led the way for the Grizzlies. Went 1 of 8 from deep, which was the bad part. Only 6 rebounds, which I expected to have a down night. But Xavier Tillman, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. He went 8 of 10 overall. He even made a 3-pointer, 1 of 2, which is nice. Luke Kennard, 7 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Listen, the 7 rebounds, 6 assists is huge for Luke. He's getting more active. He's getting more involved. 3 of 5 from deep. Dez goes down with 15 points, 3 of 6 from deep, only 23 minutes. And then Vince Williams, we've already covered. And so the rest of that, Roddy, 17, Laravia, 12, and Zaire with 13. Like, that's really what you want to see, is you want to see guys playing, good minutes and scoring. Like, this team, going back to, I think it was D'Angelo, what he was talking about is somebody has to step up on this team. Like, they have to. And so I think what we're going to see, and I want to get to a little bit more to the second segment on this topic, but I think what you're going to see is a lot of these guys, the February 8th trade deadline is looming. You have, I'd say, 14 games left before the trade deadline. At that point, these guys are going to play big minutes, and they're going to look better because they have no expectations, and they are allowed to do pretty much whatever they want. It will be in losing efforts, but what this does is this actually shows other teams, other GM scouts, that these guys have the potential. And I can sell you on potential more than I can sell you on seeing anybody on game film. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for sure.
They're going to have plenty of opportunity to contribute. But, I mean, even tonight, even with it looking as abysmal as it looked, the truth is Paul George just murdered you tonight. And everybody else was, even if they didn't have big nights, everyone was pretty efficient.
Yep.
But the Paul George, Kawhi, they were just like hyper efficient, crazy efficient tonight. Just shot the lights out. Yeah. But you look at just the tangibles, Grizzlies led in assists. They won the turnover battle. They won the rebounding battle. They shot 40% from 3. They shot more free throws and made more free throws. Like, the Grizzlies did all the tangibles to win tonight. This is one of those nights where genuinely it's like it's just one of those nights. Then you couple that with Desmond Bane going out. It's what it is. But even with Desmond Bane going out, I honestly, I was perfectly happy with the way the Grizzlies played tonight. Truly. I'm just it's one of those where sometimes the team you're playing is just not missing and things are just breaking their way. Because you look at all the other tangible parts of the game, you won in every department you really want to go win in, right? So tough night. But there's a lot of good to see. There was genuinely a lot of good to see. And it's not just the moral wins, because at that point, I think it's the only wins that count for Memphis at this point. But seeing every single young wing come in and contribute in some way, shape, or form is good, because most of those guys have not looked great consistently at the NBA level. So we're going to see a lot more of it. But between X, again, Jaren, I thought still got to a lot of good looks tonight, even though a lot of them weren't falling. And the young guys, there's a lot of good that came out of this game, in a game where this performance, minus how great Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were tonight, might have won despite Desmond Bane's injury.
Yeah. And honestly, and listen to the performance tonight, as D'Angelo's saying, it is all about the Dez injury. It really is. No matter how they played, good, bad, indifferent, it's all about the Dez injury. And that's what sucks about this. But Kai wants to ask a question about Cut Gilliard. Listen, Gilliard's on a 2-way. He's fine. He's a G League player. Who cares?
He's also a warm body.
Yeah, he can play on our team. He knows us. He knows the players. Mostly, what this does, if you say Cut Gilliard, let me spin this. Let me do the spin doctor real fast. Who does Gilliard play with the most on this team?
I would assume Laravia, right?
Let's say Jake Laravia. If we want to put in second place, he played a lot of times with Zaire, but also Gigi Jackson he's played with. He's going to help those guys play, and he's going to help those guys get into the best spot to look the best. You want Gigi to look the best because of next year. You want Jake to look the best? Get him off the team. Like, you want these guys to look good. Gilly is a guy to make them look good. You don't cut him. Plus, it's a two-way, and two-ways actually don't even matter. I don't even know if they're real. Two-way positions might not be real, but they are today.
Well, and here's the bright side. We could be the Hornets, who are as they've been all year. Just got their best player back. I've seen that get hyped up and got beat by just a little 36 piece by the Spurs tonight. Like, that performance would have beat the Spurs by 36 tonight that we got from our guys. So, listen, I'm only looking at silver linings. Again, I've gotten to the acceptance stage of grief. We won shot quality. Listen, there's going to be a lot of shot quality discussions on the Grizz 901 postgame. We are, hold on, let me do some quick math real quick. 14-24, 38 games in, which means we've got another 44 games to go.
44.
44 more of these puppies. We can be positive.
No, we're going to be fun. We're going to have a good time, but we're going to make sure we cut a little of these shows a little earlier than the hour that we've been going.
Maybe tonight.
Yeah, including that. But what we're not going to cut is our guys over at Street Cars of Memphis. They are our proud sponsor of the comment section, your section, and so make sure you go show them some love. It is honestly, it is a good company. So do me a favor. Call them, Google them. You don't need me to tell you their number. Google them, Street Cars of Memphis, and let them know the Grizz 901 team sent you, and they will hook you up with a oil change at cost, $55, but also $65 if you want full synthetic. And so I am going to use them, and so I will report back. If you don't trust them, yes, trust me. And I'll report back as soon as they fill up my truck, and we'll get some oil changed. All right, so that's the first segment. We're going to come back and hit you some Grizz trivia, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll be right back here in about 1 minute.
I'm just big on being able to vocalize what someone's role is. I always thought my best coaches were the people that let me know exactly what you expect from me. Now, I might not like it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But if you come to me man to man to say, this is how we think we're gonna play you, bang, 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 and hopefully everybody understand. I'm not saying that this has not been done with this team. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying from my experience, we all have egos when we get to this game. Right. All of us, to the last person on the bench, you got an ego, but all of us can't be the man. Yeah. You got to be able to say, okay, he's the man, but what do I do and what can I do to help us be good? And if it's vocalized to you, then you know exactly and if I'm out there doing it and now I'm not getting the result from you, now we got to sit down and have another conversation. Mm-hmm. But as long as it is told to you, this is what we expect from you, this is how we want you to play, then I feel like, again, keeping this logo. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, welcome back. This is a Grizz 901 post-game show, so I appreciate you tuning in and to this. Let's go ahead and get into the Grizz trivia. All right, Nathan, I have an easy one for you tonight. No pressure.
No such thing.
No pressure at all.
No such thing.
Out of the Grizzlies players, listen, I've lost my sheet and I'm literally struggling at the moment. But out of the Grizzlies players that have been through this team, who is the oldest, longest tenured player that is still active?
For Memphis?
That is not on Memphis, but is still in the league, but that is played in Memphis.
Oh.
He was a Grizzly. I cannot find it. I've lost it.
I don't know. My first thing was to say Vince Carter. When I think old guys that played for Memphis, Vince Carter is always my number one. But obviously he's not in the league anymore. Shoot.
Are your comments up? They are. Close them.
No. I've got it. I got them off. I got the comments off.
Well, Big Die. Look at you, bud.
Already got it.
Big Die got it. I knew the answer. I just didn't know exactly how to ask it because I can't.
Yeah.
So obviously he played with the Grizzlies and was a very pivotal player with the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
And he was here for a good minute. You should see him at Target all the time. I don't think you did, but I did. And then he was moved on from, and I can give you one more hint.
Oh, the only thing I know is it's definitely not Dylan Brooks if you complimented him.
Once they moved on from him, they went the farthest they've ever been.
Is it? I don't know if he's is it Jay Crowder?
Nope.
Solo? I don't know if Solo's still playing.
Nope. I don't know if he is either.
I don't know. I don't know. I'd say Kyle Anderson would be my last guess, but I don't really know.
Big Die got it with Rudy Gay.
Rudy Gay still plays?
Yes.
For who?
Who does he play for? I believe he was with the Jazz for a while.
Yeah, but
he still plays.
Hold on. Rudy Gay, who last played. He doesn't play anymore.
2023. He doesn't play.
He doesn't play anymore. Yeah, no, he doesn't play anymore. What are we talking about? Like,
all right, I know the next one. The next one's easy. If it's not him, it is Mike Conley.
Conley. Okay, that one does make sense. I still would have guessed maybe Jay Crowder. Yeah, dude.
All right, he doesn't play. He's on the bench. Listen, all right. I think he is on the bench as well. I don't know, but
hold on.
It said to me that Rudy Gay was still active when I was doing my research.
Stats. Let's do. So we're going to stats. 2022, 20. Yeah, he has not played a minute. So I don't think that should.
He's
count.
in a Warriors jersey.
Yeah, it says for the Warriors.
Did he? What was he on a roster this year? I dare you to show me he was on a roster this year. Either way, you didn't get Mike Conley, so what's it matter?
Yeah, I'm disappointed in myself for that. I'm going to be straight up. But
he's also injured. See? There's a lot of things working in my favor right now, but the problem is, hold on, 23, 24. Womp, womp, womp. There's nothing there.
He don't play.
Whatever.
He don't play. He's not real.
Anyway.
The birds aren't real. Neither is Rudy Gay's career at this point.
Well, whatever. It was a good question. Great question.
It was a good question. Poor execution.
All right, let's get bad execution. This is off the rails. Let's go ahead and get into this this first comment. It is from John 17. It's going to be, will Bane return this season?
Yeah. I can't imagine he's out for the season. I mean, unless it's one of those things where they just choose to hold him out. But even that, I don't foresee that happening. Like, they'll make sure he's good and healthy no matter how bad the sprain is, right? It could be minor. Doesn't look like it was very minor, but they'll get him healed up and they'll bring him back. There's no reason to just completely hold him out the season. I don't think it's something he would want to do.
Yeah. All right. So what do you do now moving forward? Besides, I know.
I mean, honestly, it's you keep playing basketball. Again, anybody who's like tank, again, you don't have to tank. You're just gonna lose. Truly, like you don't have to tank. Like, you put these guys out there, you try and play the best basketball that you can, and then see what happens. But like, the season is pretty well over. There's no conceivable way they could make any kind of play-in or anything like that. So there's no like, hey, you're playing for the playoffs, you're playing to make a play-in or anything like that. But you also, like, there's no reason to tank. I don't think it's good for a team to tank ever anyways. I think it builds terrible habits and terrible culture. That's the opposite of what this team has been trying to build the past 4 or 5 years. So you don't do that, and you're going to lose anyways. But play it out with these guys. See what they've got. When Dez comes back, throw him back in. When Smart comes back, you're going to throw him back in. And you're going to keep trying to win games. And you're still going to end up with good lottery odds. So you play it out, see what you got. For now, it's going to be Jaren Jackson. How much of an absolute monster can you be? Because guess what, buddy? You are the only one left. So you're going to see a lot of Jaren, but listen, fan base is going to get its wish. You're going to get a lot of GG minutes. We're going to see a lot of Arabia. You're going to see a lot of Zaire, Roddy. I bet we see, inevitably we will have to see Conchar just because you need warm bodies out there. But honestly, if anyone's going to be hurt by this, I think it's Conchar because you kind of know what you got. There's no, hey, we want to see the upside of John in the lineup, right? So, we'll see. And again, I imagine how do I want to put this? Jake phobia will make a return at some point. But listen, he played well tonight. Again, we give credit where credit's due on the show, regardless of how we felt about everything in the past. He played well tonight. Maybe he keeps playing well. Plays himself straight into a trade package. That would be fantastic. So, again, you play it out. You try and get the best you possibly can out of these guys and this team. Chances are it doesn't go well. You end up in a high lottery pick, and then that's the way the season goes. But you play it out.
Yeah, let me just kind of break down the schedule for everybody. And so obviously right now the Grizzlies are, not doing well. But let me give it to you as I try to always do in bite-sized pieces. The Grizzlies now are 14-24, okay? There are approximately 14 games until you get to the trade deadline. Like we have a game on the day of the trade deadline, right? So 14 games. After the trade deadline, you have 30. Just like we've always discussed, like there's different parts to this season. These next 14 games, you're probably not going to get back Marcus Smart, I'd imagine, because you're talking about 6 weeks. The 8th of February, right? We're in the 12th. He's not gonna play before the All-Star game. I'm sorry, for the All-Star break, I'd imagine, but also definitely not the trade deadline. So 14 games just in general. 30 games after, this team could look completely different. But what you're going to do is these next 14 games, you don't have Dez, especially for some at some point, right? You're not going to have any kind of Marcus Smart, Ja, any of those dudes. It's going to be a lot of Tillman. It's going to be a lot of the guys that you saw in the game. What that does, though, is that increases their trade value to where the Grizzlies could actually make a trade, but they don't have to. They literally don't. They don't have to trade anybody on this team. And honestly, you get to where you need to be next season. That is the truth because you're going to be losing Xavier Tillman in the offseason unless you sign him, which could happen. I'm not going to rule that out. But if they were to make no trades at all, you're coming back healthy for the next season. That's not the ideal plan. I'm just saying, you are not in a position right now that you say, I have to make a trade. At this point, you're literally just letting these guys cook. And if somebody breaks out, if somebody really develops because of the time, then great. If not, that sucks. But literally, whatever happens to the trade deadline, the last 30 games, you're going to get a lot of GG. Because at that point, we're probably, 14, 16 and 35? I don't know, whatever. And at that point, the season's a wash, and you're gonna get a good trade asset. So just breaking it up like that, these next 14 games, and then the 30 games after, once you get maybe a piece back that you're maybe an upside piece or somebody that's injured that's going to be coming back healthy next year. I don't know. It's going to be different, but 14 games.
The Fire Jenkins crowd is an absolute shambles right now because it's just such a free year that it's such a wash. It's nobody can get fired after this year. Everybody has an excuse.
Yeah.
RIP to the Fire Jenkins crowd because it's hard out there right now.
It is hard. Let them cook, baby. Let them cook.
Yeah, it's listen, I think it's kind of nice because now there's no incentive to make the impulsive trade. Like, the team's playing really well. Maybe if we just get, that kind of went out the window when Ja went out. But now with Smart and Bane out, it's like, dude, there's no piece you can bring in to make this season remotely salvageable.
Yeah.
And so it's unless all of a sudden all of your young guys turn into borderline all-stars. So,
Right.
which my money's on that not happening. But other than that, the trades that you want to make are the same trades that you would have made if you were conceivably healthy, which is like, can you go get a Mikal Bridges type player? Can you go get a Cam Johnson type player? The kind of players that would have fit with this team when they were healthy and really helped this team then too. So there's no reason to make an impulse trade or anything like that. We'll see. If they're trying to throw Tillman into that, then they'll do it this year. Other than that, I would imagine they wait until the offseason to make something like that happen. So, we'll see.
I'm curious what they do with Tillman, and it's not going to be this trade package that Bleacher Report did. That Jake or whatever his name.
Stupid.
That was the dumbest thing.
Eric Pincus, was that his name?
Whatever. I don't know. My thing. I wrote it out once. And I say he's an idiot, and then it said it changed his name to something like pretty like slander or something. All right. The autocorrect went straight to that. I should have just left it, but I didn't. But I will say that I'm curious the most about Xavier Tillman, because Xavier Tillman is going to be good a lot of these games because he's going to get minutes and he's going to be playing with nothing to lose. And so it's going to be the point of it actually might help him make some money or potentially make him get traded to where he can go to one of these teams in a trade package. And if it gets you back a piece that you can use, whether it's a trade asset, whether it's something back, you have to go ahead and send them out this year. If you don't think that they're good for your team, if they're not a top 8 player for the future, you have to send them out. You got to upgrade your top 8 no matter what. And so if he is the 11th, 12th guy on this team, if it brings you back something for the future, then you got to go send him out. And so I'm curious what it looks like. I'm honestly, I saw that John 17 about Kenny Lofton Jr. I'm glad he's not here because he would be playing. He'd be playing big minutes. And then we'd hear it next offseason about how Kenny has to play more minutes. Kenny's not an NBA player. I'm sorry. He's just not.
Well, I don't know. He could be one day. But with the Tillman stuff, it's just kind of at this thing where, like, if you let him walk in free agency, I know some people are like saying that, hey, you can't you're just losing a filler in a trade package. Let's be honest. Like, he's played awesome. I would love for him to get re-signed, still be on the team. I still love him for this team as, like you're saying, like a 10th through 12th type guy. But when you're healthy and you've got Steven Adams and Santi Aldama and Brandon Clark and Jaren Jackson, like, the minutes are few and far between for X. Like, that's just the reality of it. And so I don't think there's a lot of risk in holding out. Like, you don't just send them just because you got to get something for them.
Right.
Like, it's because there's something you want and you can make it happen with X. Otherwise, I think you see where you are in the offseason and then kind of gauge that, see if you do want to bring them back based off the roster you've got put together and what you're building. So, other than that, like I said, this season, obviously there's not much to do. You can kind of go buy a nice bouquet, set it on the grave because this season's done. And, Daniel, speaking of flowers, Pews, right?
Hello, Pews.
Pews. From flower shops to commercial landscape maintenance, Pews has been around for 30-plus years serving the Mid-South. But did you know that Pews also does residential lawn care now? I actually didn't. I thought it was just flowers that I get from my grandmother every year. But they now do residential lawn care. Pews residential spray can take care of all your weed control and fertilization needs. And if you want to create that perfect weed-free lawn experience, weeds, like the bad weeds, to be clear, then call Pews Residential Spray today for a free estimate. 901-633-2118, and let them know that the Grizz 901 crew sent you. And remember, with Pews, you get big company strength with small company values.
Great.
Pews. I thought they just did flowers. I genuinely did not know that they did lawn care now, but I can double up my package. There you go.
Well, they do the flowers. They do the commercial landscaping, all that. I do know that because my buddy runs that portion of a lot of it, and so he does a lot of that area. But they now do residential spray. They spray my yard. They do a good job. So go give them a call. They'll hook you up. But let's go ahead and hook up the rest of you to the third segment. All right, we'll be right back in about a minute.
Yeah, because Zach Randolph went into the Blazers organization that had some characters. Underline the word characters,
Right.
okay? He's coming from Michigan State. He's from Marion, Indiana. And then you go to Portland, Oregon, which it's an entirely different culture, entirely different demographic. He had people around him who were guys from Marion. Hey, you owe us. Anthony, one of the key memories of my time here in Memphis off the court, I did a Read to Achieve event with Zach Randolph. And the kid who read the most books, his prize was to get to interview Zach Randolph. And the young man, first question to Zach is, what's the hardest thing for a black athlete to learn? And Zach did not give him any, like BS fluff answer. He said, a lot of times the people who say they're your friends, they're not your friends. And you have to pick the people around you very, very wisely.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, we are back in the third segment. And what a transition for the Flowers for Nate. We're going to get into the New York Knickerbockers. We play them tomorrow at 7 o'clock. The game, it's only a 7.5 point difference, which is weird, on the team that is on a back-to-back without one of our best players.
Yeah, I think that line might end up moving. If I had to guess. Get it now.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the Knicks? Like I said, we talked about this earlier this morning with Nick School. I did, and I think they're a good team. I think Julius Randle is good. The addition of OG and Jalen Brunson, has been a master with the ball in his hands. But what do you do with them? Do you think we play Jaren, or do you just go and just say, hey, we're going to back-to-back, we're going to go ahead and phone it in?
You play him. Unless you have a reason not to play him again, I think you just play your guys. Like if Jaren's legitimately sore or something like that, then don't play him. There's no reason to put any guys at risk whatsoever the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But other than that, you play your guys and see how it looks. As far as the game goes itself, I have very little faith, very little hope. I mean, the Knicks have been playing some inspired basketball. I was just looking, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row until last night. They finally lost to the Mavs, but they beat the Wolves and the Sixers in those games, and they've been playing a really good brand of basketball. Brunson has been playing really well all year long. Randall has sucked less as of late. They got OG Anunoby in there now, who's obviously a great player. So they got a lot of good pieces. And Hartenstein's a guy that I know Chris and I both were hoping the Grizzlies could find a way to go get somehow, some way. And he's their bench guy, right? Yeah. And so obviously not anymore, but with Mitchell Robinson, he would be their bench guy. But it's just, you just don't have the horses. It would be foolish to encourage. I know we have a big gambling crowd here. It'd be foolish to give false hope and lead people to lose money. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a good person. Look out for all of you and say I would get that Grizzlies line ASAP because it's going up, just to be clear. So that's right now 7.5.
Yeah.
I'd probably hammer an alternate if I had to guess. That line's a moving.
Yeah. It'll definitely be moving. Weirdly enough, though, they came back late in this game against the Clippers, which closed it, down from a 20-point game, a lot of the game, into only being, within close to the 10-point swing.
I just want to say on that, yes, and I thought there was a lot of good from tonight's game. I've been nothing but positive. At the same time, you got some really good contributions out of like Jake LaRavia and David Roddy and then Gigi Jackson at the end. And it's like, I'm sorry, my friends, I do not count on that on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, there's nothing to look at with the Knicks. It's not about the opponent anymore, and we might have to figure out a new third segment. I think we'll keep it because I think it's good to look at the next team. But honestly, I don't think it matters tonight for sure.
I feel bad. I don't know who it was. I think it was me, Alan earlier. I don't know. Whoever this was, I'm sorry, I can't remember. But it was like, with Bane out, what do you think the record might be? And I'm like, no, we don't do the record predictions anymore because the smart prediction would be and whatever amount of games you're asking us to guess. Like, there's not a team you step on the floor against right now that you should beat. I mean, honestly, conceivably, you have your third best guy, and after that, like at best, your sixth best guy in Kennard.
Yeah.
I think and that's maybe not even your sixth. And after that, you're missing 7, 8, and 9 too. It's like you got your first guy, your sixth guy, and then 11 through 18 are who's playing right now. And so, even though your best is as good as a lot of other teams' best, you just don't have the guys behind it. So they should be underdogs in virtually every game.
Yeah, I wouldn't see them being a favorite ever for the rest of the year. Yeah. I don't even care who they play.
They'll get Smart back at some point, and they'll get Bane back, and those guys will play when they're back. So that'll happen. But until such a time when at least one of them is back, big oof.
Well, right now they are definitely, way down in the West. I would say, just looking at this, we'll kind of keep this up. We'll talk about this. I think this is important. If you look at this, they have the sixth worst record in the league. They're one game back from Toronto, who is the seventh worst, right? And so, really, you're talking about Portland. They're not going to be good the rest of the season. Charlotte, it's not going to be good the rest of the season. San Antonio, Washington, Detroit. I know people want to tank. Let me just explain to you. Those other teams that are under you are bad, and they don't care, and they're not going to care. It's going to be hard to catch them. You're 4 games up from being in 5th place. Like, it's going to be hard to catch Portland just in general. So getting into the bottom 5 is almost impossible. I wouldn't say completely impossible, but it's going to be almost impossible because the Grizzlies are going to win games. And if you look above them, like I just talked about, Toronto wants to win. They want to be good. Atlanta, Brooklyn, Chicago, Golden State, Utah, all those teams want to be good as of right now. And as they want to be good, they're going to win some games. You're in that spot where you're probably going to finish the year in the 6th worst record.
I mean, you got like Detroit is legitimately on pace for a 7-win season.
Yes.
Like it's tough. And again, the way the lottery works is part of one of the things that NBA has for sure gotten really right is you could finish with the 6th worst record. Likely, no. But it could happen. And we've seen the ball bounce in a lot of weird ways. And so you just play it out. There's no reason to tank. You're going to lose most nights. You're going to probably, if you put this team on the floor tomorrow night, they would be underdogs to Detroit.
True. Healthy.
If you're playing in Detroit, they would be underdogs, most likely. So it's you just play it out. And again, even if I thought this team would just be middling, I would not be on the tank train. I just don't believe in it. Can't believe in it. And at this point, you don't have to be. Even if you want to lose, you just don't have to. So
no, you want to play so these young guys get minutes, but also potentially they get good enough where they look like they are a good, valuable asset and get traded. Like, that's just the truth. If not, so be it. Like, they're going to get better and get ready for next year. And then eventually you can see what you do in the offseason. So all in all, I try to finish with a little bit of a glass half full of just looking at it like, hey, I know people want to tank. There is no tanking. Like, this team needs to play. You're probably going to finish. If you did tank, you're going to finish 6th. If you don't tank, you're probably finishing 6th.
Yeah.
Just play it out.
Listen, you just got these little young fledglings fresh into the NBA. You're going to mold them, teach them, develop them, shape them, and then watch them fly to Brooklyn or Chicago or possibly Atlanta. So, like, that's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. All right, that's all we got tonight. It has been fun. Do us a favor, though, because they are the comment section sponsor, go ahead and check out Streetcars of Memphis. Everybody needs an oil change. Most people have a car. And so if you do have a car, everybody needs an oil change. Give them a shot. It's all I ask. Let them know the Grizz 101 team sent you. and they will hook you up with a good deal. The reason is, as I said earlier, is they want to get their name out there because they want to be somebody that you look to if you need a special modification for a lift kit or any kind of a special wheels or tires. And so go give them a chance just to give you an oil change and hook you up. But that's all we have. Thank you to all of our sponsors. As always, thank you to Bluff City Media. We'll definitely be back here tomorrow night. I'm not sure if I will be here, but potentially. Either way, we know Nate. I think Nate's already still scheduled to be here. I'm not sure exactly what my schedule is going to be yet. I've been working on the issue, we'll say, via text while we've had the show going on. But that's all we have. We'll definitely see you tomorrow with the Knicks. Do me a favor, go follow Grizz 901 Podcast. Give this a like and go ahead and subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Like and share on Twitter. But I'm going to put out and retweet the thing we did, the interview I did. It comes out, like I said, in about 50 minutes. And so it's gonna come out through Nick's school. But go check it out. Show some love to them. We always want to show love to people who show love to us. But that's all we got. Y'all have a good night. Have a good weekend. And bundle up. It's effing cold. Be nice and tell your friends.